For our second example, we have a slightly more complicated problem. We're going to have to do a little factoring in the denominator. So let's do that first. My numerator will stay the same, of x minus 1, but my denominator needs to be factored into x. Well, let's see here, two numbers that multiply to 4 and add to negative 5. That would be negative 4 and negative 1. Negative 4 times negative 1 gives me positive 4. Negative 4 plus negative 1 gives me negative 5. We're all good. We're factored. We're ready to go. Let's find our domain. Our domain is all real numbers except x cannot equal, well, 4, because that would cause my denominator to be 0, and 1, because that would also cause my denominator to equal 0. Moving on. Holes, if we have any holes. Well, holes are what we have to cancel. I can cancel the x minus 1 and x minus 1, so I have a hole at x equals 1. Now I need my vertical asymptote. It's whatever's left in the denominator after I've done any kind of cancellations. Well, in this case, x minus 4 is left, so x equals 4 is a vertical asymptote. And then lastly, my horizontal asymptote. I look at my exponents. In the numerator, I have x to the first. In the denominator, I have x to the second. My numerator's degree is smaller than my denominator's degree. Therefore, it is y equals 0. Woo! All right, we got it all so far. We got those 4 parts. That's important. Let's plot those on the graph. Vertical asymptote at x equals 4. It's just a coincidence that this is the same as the last one with the vertical asymptotes. It's not always going to be x equals 4. And I also have y equals 0. Here's my horizontal asymptote at y equals 0. Alrighty, now we need some points. Well, for my x values, I go 3 to the left and 3 to the right. My 3 to the left will be 1, 2, and 3. My 3 to the right will be 5, 6, and 7. Now you might be asking yourself, well, do I have to plug it into the original equation, or can I plug it into the simplified version? You can plug it into the simplified version, but be careful when you're plugging it into the simplified version. You have to make sure that you've simplified it correctly. I'm not going to have y equals x minus 4 because that's all that's left. That's in the denominator. It needs to stay in the denominator, so I'm going to have x minus 4 in the denominator. Well, what goes in the numerator when there's nothing left? You guessed it, a 1 goes in the numerator when there's nothing left. This is the equation that I'm going to be plugging my values into. Y equals 1 over x minus 4. So let's do that. When I plug 1 in, I'm going to have 1 over 1 minus 4, which is negative 3, so negative 1/3. And I'll let you guys go through the rest of these. Now I have all my ordered pairs. Let's plot them. We have 1, negative 1/3, so 1, negative 1/3. That puts me right around here. 2, negative 1/2. 2, negative 1/2. That puts me right in the middle right there. 3, negative 1. Boom, right there. Alrighty, let's draw this out. Let's connect the dots, make it all nice, as good as we can. It's a little tough on the computer here. Alright, next we have 5, 1. So 5, 1 is right here. 6, 1/2. 6, 1/2 goes right here. And 7, 1/3. Some of you may be noticing, oh, these are just the same thing but positive on the second set. Yes, that is true. It's not just a coincidence. That will happen frequently when your horizontal asymptote is y equals 0. Here's my graph. Am I missing anything? If you say yes, you're absolutely right. I have a hole at x equals 1. I have a hole at x equals 1 right here. Boom. I need to put that on the graph somewhere. So what am I going to need to do? My hole is going to be on the graph when x equals 1. Well, that's at this point right here. So when I draw that, I need to make sure that I have an open circle at that point. So use your eraser there and draw an open circle at that point. I have a hole at x equals positive 1. That's the hole in the graph. Now we have covered everything on this graph. It's a beautiful looking graph. We are good to go. A+ work right here if you match this up. Always remember, ELE and hammer the grammar. Yeah.